This is my instant match review from the AZ Alkmaar 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0 game. And I'm not exaggerating or overplaying it if I say that that was the worst Tottenham Hotspur game that I've seen in my memory. I guess the only possible positive I can find from that is that we're still in the tie, 1-0 down, going back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But AZ Alkmaar did their homework. They watched the games against Palace. They watched the games against Ipswich. They watched every game under Ange Postecoglou that pretty much he has lost to teams supposedly inferior to us and seen exactly what it takes to turn over a Tottenham side. Get in their face, hack at them, show desire, show motivation, show a want to win 50-50 balls. And Tottenham will retreat into their shell and they will play every pass sideways or backwards. They will show no creativity, no willingness to get stuck in, no leadership. And it's happened again. And this team, I'm sorry, the Tottenham team, have just sunk into their shells and been like, oh, well, there's another leg. Let's try not to lose more than 1-0. I have zero confidence that we are going to beat this team by 2 clear goals at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because they will play exactly the same way and they'll probably score a goal, at least 1 goal. And there's Ange out on the pitch applauding the away fans. Do you remember the away fans at Bournemouth when we played that game against Bournemouth and they went mental? They should be going mental at Ange again now. I'm sorry, they really should. And Vicario is kind of lifting his arms to try and get them to support the team. How can you support that team when they've travelled thousands of miles or 1,000 miles to go and watch utter dross? The team couldn't string 2 passes together. Certainly not 2 forward passes. They barely even attempted it. Players who can hang their head up high, maybe Jed Spence. There's Lucas Bergvall apologising. He's a kid, he shouldn't have to apologise. Absolutely appalling. Bentancur got booked, he's out of the next game. He made me so angry tonight. He just pussied out of that game. Wasn't hard in 50-50s, didn't take the ball on the half turn, just passing it backwards and sideways every single time. Horrible, horrible performance. Vicario, possibly the only other player who can hold his head up high, made some vital saves. Without Vicario, we would probably be 3-0 down in the tie. I'm not exaggerating, honestly. AZ Alkmaar with Troy Parrott up front. Their captain is an ex-Southampton player. Just so many times. You know what really reminded me of? How many times in the 5th round of the FA Cup down the years have we played teams from the league below who have got a player in their team? I think Johnny Howson. Johnny Howson played for Middlesbrough against us and had the best game of his career. And that's exactly what happened today. Although they didn't have to have the best games of their career. They just had to be 6 out of 10, Alkmaar. And they rolled us over easily. They just got a goal, played direct. Should have scored a couple of other goals. I don't know. Maybe you'll tell me in the comments that I'm too negative, I'm too angry. Or some of you big Ange Postecoglou supporters will say I'm being unfair on Ange Postecoglou. But it was fucking dross from the very first 30 seconds of the game. Nothing changes. We don't try and do anything different. Spence, I guess, the only player trying to do something different, trying to dribble out of his defence and trying to play balls over the top. Nobody else. Everybody else absolutely afraid. Afraid of trying to do anything that could win us that game or get us a result in that game. I'll try and do ratings. Vicario, I'll give a 7 because he saved us, maybe 7.5. Spence started at right back, I'll give him a 7. Gray tried hard, I'll give him a 6. Danso, I'll give him a 6.5, tried hard. Udogi, 5.5, poor. Bentancur, 4, poor. Bergvall, terrible first half, but tried hard and got better second half, so I'll give him a 5.5. Maddison, taken off early again. Even getting taken off early in games where we don't even have Kulusevski. So literally no creativity from central midfield on the pitch. But he's still taken off early. Didn't look happy, but he was poor. He was bullshit. 5. Son, 4. Tell, 4. Johnson, 3. Absolutely appalling. And I'm sorry, I cannot sugarcoat it. I don't think Spurs had a single shot on goal. Maybe one. Had a couple of shots over the bar, but nothing. The goal, by the way, was a Lucas Bergvall own goal from a corner. They got loads of corners because they kept on getting on down in, kept on getting in down the left-hand side, and Danso and Gray having to clear it out for corners. On at least 2 or 3 occasions, those corners would be bent in. Free headers at the back post. Tottenham's inability or refusal to defend the back post has been exactly the same all season. How do you defend this, Ange Postecoglou fans, of which there are a number? How do you defend it, honestly? Literally, how do you defend the fact that we give up the same chances time and time and time again? I don't know. Maybe he'll surprise me, and maybe in the second leg we'll roll over Alkmaar 4 or 5-0, but I do not see it. I do not see it. They're going to play exactly that same way. We are going to play sideways and backwards for 90 minutes and just hope that a bit of magic happens. Hope that, well, with no Kulusevski, it's in a week's time, isn't it? He's not going to be fit. I don't know. Big Ange Postecoglou is on the brink. He is on the brink, because if we lose this, he has to go. If we lose this last 16 tie against AZ Alkmaar in the one competition we have left, we're what, 13th, 14th in the league? He will have to go. I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments. How will he survive this? I do not know how he would survive it. There's no... When the going gets tough, there is nothing on that pitch that drags Tottenham back. Nothing. Nothing. You need some drive. I know it sounds weird, but you need, as a fan base, even if you're just watching it on TV from 1,000 miles away, you need to see someone on the pitch going, for fuck's sake, lads, let's get into them. Let's get stuck in. None of that. Nothing. It was easy for Alkmaar. They were like, oh, they're not going to score. I can think of only like 2 or 3 occasions we got in their final third, looked even slightly dangerous, and their centre halves just found it absolutely ridiculously easy to just sweep it up, head it back to their keeper. Awful. Absolutely awful. And I am intrigued to see what Ange Postecoglou comes out and says in the press conference. Oh, it's who we are, mate. This is who we are. This is who we've been this season against all the teams who play deep blocks. And it's not good enough. Do not play Brennan Johnson and Son Heung-Min against teams of a half-decent standard who play a deep block, because you can't get in behind them and they can't take the players on. Odebear came in the second half. Bit of a one-trick pony, I'm afraid. The fullback knew that he was going to come in narrow every single time. So play him on the right. Swap him with Johnson. Play him on the right and say, get to the outside of the man. Get to the byline and try and cut the ball back. Try something different. Move the players around. He brought Pat Matasar on in midfield when we were struggling. Why? Why? In a game where it needed some technical proficiency to get the ball down, to move it around quickly, to not be slow and turgid, you bring on Pat Matasar, who is all engine and legs. Well, there's no point having his legs. He can't get in behind the back line because the back line's playing so deep. It's obvious. And I'm sorry. Look, I don't want Ange to become Mikel Arteta and rant and rave on the touchline for no reason. But to just stand there and look aimlessly, and look like, oh, it's not my fault. It fucking is your fault, mate. It is your fault. You can't blame the injuries anymore. All season, oh, wait till we get the injuries back. We've got the injuries back. You know, they're all on the bench anyway. Solanke comes on, gets injured again. I'm hopeful it's just an impact injury, like a kind of dead leg, but in the bottom of his back, rather than a muscle injury. But you can't use that excuse anymore, Ange. I'm sorry. And I don't know what your excuse is going to be about playing against teams who, man for man, don't have as much quality, but try harder and want it more and are better motivated. That's supposed to be your game, Postecoglou. Motivation, man management. Well, we did nothing tonight. We embarrassed ourselves tonight. And I'm sorry, if you're Daniel Levy and his little circle of, yes men, Donna Cullen and all them, they'll be talking about it. They'll be saying, oof, might have to let him go if we lose this second leg. Can you see... Let me know in the comments, can you honestly see us beating that AZ Alkmaar team by 2 clear goals? I'll tell you what will happen. At best, we'll win by 1 clear goal, it'll go to penalties and we'll lose. We'll lose on penalties. Parrott will score the winning penalty. You can guarantee it. And it won't be Luck's fault. It'll be Postecoglou's fault. And the team's fault, because we haven't got enough leadership in there. And so many people, and I'll put my hands up, me included, said we needed to get rid of all the players who couldn't play handball. Actually, I think we could have done with a Pierre-Emile Højbjerg tonight. We could have done with an Eric Dyer, someone with a bit of leadership, a bit of nous, a bit of grit to try and get us through a game like that is difficult. And the camera's on Bergvall. It shouldn't be. He shanked one into his own net. That was just unlucky. But the reason we lost that game is because we're fucking shit. Set up wrongly, pussies on the ball, too afraid to take some risks. I don't know. Maybe I'll be made to look stupid next week if he finds a way to turn them over easily, but I cannot see it. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. That's been my post-match review to the AZ Alkmaar 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0, Dross Europa League last 16 first leg tie, where Tottenham have been embarrassed. They've embarrassed themselves and they're lucky to still be in it somehow. That is the only positive I have from it. We're lucky to still be in it somehow.